Okay, so we're going to look at this one. It looks intimidating. We have f of x. Thankfully for this one, we are only asking, well, no, we are asking a couple of different things. Is the function 1-to-1? And we look at this and we say, let's graph it. Okay, so got y equals, so we've got 2x minus 7 over 3x plus 4, all raised to the 1/5 power. And this, does it pass the horizontal line test? Yes, it looks like we've got a horizontal asymptote. That's okay. We've also got a vertical asymptote at, what is that? Probably 4/3, I think. That is stressing GeoGebra out. It's a little bit of a wonky graph. We are not going to find the inverse function. It's a little troublesome. But what we are going to ask is to evaluate the function. We want to evaluate f inverse of f of 1,253. And we say, okay, we know it has an inverse. Do we need to find the inverse? No, because we know f inverse of f of x will just be x. So this will just be 1,253. And kind of same story on the other end, right? If I've got f of f inverse of x squared plus 2, because order didn't matter for this composition, we are just going to end up with whatever the input is, which in this case is x squared plus 2. Do not overthink these questions. I see a lot of students will actually try to find the inverse function and then compose the two to get the answer to this solution to this question when none of those steps are actually needed. Okay, last thing we've got is a word problem, which is not my favorite. This is not my favorite. I gotta find a better one. We've got a city swimming league determines that the cost per person of a group swim lesson should be given by this function, c of x equals 60 plus 2x over x, where x is the number of people in the class and c of x is in dollars. So first off, we might note that the domain for c of x, we've got to exclude 0, right? Because that would be divide by 0 error. We don't want that. What we do want to find, though, is the inverse function. So we can go replace c of x with y, and I'm going to swap my x's and y's. I don't want to write things multiple times. So we're just going to do this. And then we are going to multiply both sides by y. And then we're going to do the same thing we did earlier. We are going to get all of our y terms on one side. Anything that doesn't have a y on the other side. So we've got xy minus 2y equals 60. We're going to note that there's a y in both of those, so I can factor it out. And then I can solve for y. 60 over x minus 2. So this is going to be our inverse function, c inverse of x. And for this one, we can note that the domain, we can't have x equal to 2, because that would cause a divide by 0 error. So what is this representing? What is this function representing? This is going to give us the enrollment in the class, which will be c inverse of x, as a function of the cost. So in other words, if you charge $3, you will have 60 people in the class. As you charge more and more money, you get fewer people in the class. If you charge, let's say, $12, right, that would be 60 over 12 minus 2, so 60 over 10, you would only have 6 people in the class. Yeah, and that makes sense from a business standpoint, right? The more you charge, the fewer people buy it. So that is it for this chapter.